looped full circle back into Dreamland. I want this to be an event. How much have you been drinking? What's going on? Some of them can't punch for toffee.
This will be like a big night out for the whole city.
This place is going to be jumping. Absolutely jumping. I'll do it in front of the lights, cameras, all the action, and then there'll be nothing left to say.
You know, I was going to say this is what dreams are made of, but I almost feel like this is beyond dreaming. This is kind of beyond dreaming.
This is a dream to reality, and then somehow I've looped full circle back into Dreamland because I'm here. The stadium, everything's setting in motion. We're talking about the seating, the plans, and
Are you involved in that? Are you involved in part of that as well?
Because I want to be. Because the one thing I said about this, for me, I wanted it to be real and authentic. I didn't want to do it for the sake of doing it. And I know I've been talking about it for years. I said I want to come to Portman Road. I want to bring boxing back to Ipswich. But I didn't want to just do it for any old reason and it be any old event and it just be a passerby. I wanted it to be special. So I want to be hands-on. I want to know what the ticket prices are because I know my town. I know my city. I know my things.
Boxing is a working men's sport, isn't it?
Exactly.
Don't price out the public.
That's what I mean. And I would rather, for me again, I would rather a cheaper price ticket and have this place full to the rafters. That's my thing. Is that I want this to be an event. I want us to spend money on the fireworks, on the flares, and do all the bits. And
it's going to be incredible.
And make it.
If this is the weather, please. Let this be the weather. If this is the weather, then June 7th is going to be sensational. All right, let's go back a few years, because your story is unique, and there'll be some that know it, there'll be some that don't, because you're now a superstar, Fab. A lot of people want to know about you. You're a superstar, Fab.
I know about super.
You're a superstar, Fab. When did you first lace up the gloves? When did you put them on?
I first ever put on a pair of gloves 10 years ago now, so when I was 20.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's even when I say it out loud, it does sound a bit silly, because then I'm in the gym with the likes of like Moses and these other boys and like Royston and all these, and they've been boxing since they pretty much come out of the womb. 100%. Like they've been hitting the bag since they could, like. And then me at just 20 years old, I just scratched my head and thought, oh, you know what, this boxing stuff.
Why though? Like you picked the toughest sport. Look, you're athletic. Why boxing? Because you've gone for the toughest sport. You could have said swimming. Yeah. You could have said, you know, I fancy a bit of swimming.
I like me personally, and I think it's been evidenced. One, in my opponents that I choose, and two, in my fights and the way I fight. Yeah. I love a challenge.
Okay.
I love a challenge. Fair. And I picked a sport where I thought, you know what? This one's going to test me. And even if I don't take it to the full nines, even if I don't go all the way with it, this one will push me. This one will test me. I'll find out more about myself in this sport.
Wait, so when you picked up those gloves, you were already thinking, I could do this as a pro, or just the white collar stuff?
I was just playing around. I thought, I picked up the gloves. I went into the gym. The first day, first training session. I was blowing, I was done for, stamina was out, gone, nothing left.
Everyone thinks it's easy.
Literally, and then end of the session, I was so over eager, I was so over keen. And I said to Rob, I said, oh, can I spar? And he went, spar? It was your first day. He went, you barely know what you're doing. I was like, yeah, but I want to hop in, like I want to feel it. Yeah. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, like I want to jump in with someone, let me just move around with someone. He was like, okay, all right. He's like, who do you want? Again, me being me, looking around. Who's the biggest geezer in here I can find? Pick the biggest geezer in here I could find. He pieced me up for like 4 rounds. I got battered around the ring, got out, laid down, flat out. I was like, breathing. I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. Like straight back in. And then that's how I explain it to people.
So the bug is true. You always hear that story. Everyone talks about the story of the bug. And once you go in the gym, it kind of gets you in. You stay in.
And honestly, the story I say to people is they go, "Oh, you started so late, and how did you keep going?" I said, "Look, you know what happened? I said one day I went into the gym. The next day I never left. Okay. That was it. I was there week after week, after day, and then I was getting incrementally better. And then even the littler guys that were piecing me up everywhere and beating me up, I was beating them now, and then I moved on, and then little increments of progression were really like spurring me on to get more and more from it. So that was the beginning, really.
When did you know, all right, so you've done the white collar stuff, you've had a few fights there. When did you know in the pro ranks that you were good? Was there a fight where you kind of went into the dressing room after and like, you know what, we could do something here?
Man, I've always got really high expectations of myself.
Yeah.
When I really thought, you know what, I would call it more validation.
Okay,
and thinking, okay, cool, there's something here.
Yeah.
Was probably the Simon Vallely fight. Knowing him, knowing his background, knowing his history.
Yeah.
Commonwealth Games, gold medalist, strong amateur, strong pedigree. At that point in my career, a big step up. One that everyone thought maybe a step too far because this guy's too cute, too clean, knows his stuff, knows his way around boxing. Stopped him in 3 rounds, and then I did it really well. I was really happy with my performance, and I thought, actually, you know what? Maybe there is a little something here. Maybe like it was for the English title. I won my first belt. Again, that was another little milestone, a validation of thinking, okay, yeah, my name's etched in now. Okay, cool. All right, let's run this game. Let's see how far we can go with this.
And now the dreams, and it sounds crazy considering your start, your journey, but the dreams now are legitimate, are becoming a world champion.
100%. 100%. And look, if you'd have said to me, if you'd have said to me 10 years ago, Fab, hey mate, you're on the edge of being a world champion, I'd be like, what, mate? How much have you been drinking? What's going on? Like,
but that shows how hard you've worked, because you've had to play catch up.
100%.
Natural ability, yes. Athlete, yes, I think we can see it. But boxing ability, you know, is completely different. So that means you've dedicated yourself to this game in those last years to catch up everyone.
That was in the early stages, that was the mantra of me and my team, was catch up, catch up, catch up, catch up. Because like I said in the beginning, I knew that these guys had been boxing since they were 8, 9, 10, like early days. And then in the pros, they'd turned over, they'd been having some fights. So I knew I had to play catch up. So I think I earned a bit of this reputation as just the guy who would go anywhere, spar anyone, run after anyone. There was times where I was sparring back to back to back. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because I knew that I needed to get the rounds in. I was sparring the likes of Dylan White, Derek Chisora, early days of like guys. Sam Sexton, tough guys, and ultimately getting battered as well. But every time just learning a little bit and going, okay, that didn't work. That's not useful against him. And okay, that worked over there. That jab and that situation, cool. All right, that worked. And having to piece it all together over time, I begun to create a package of a fighter that was able to move forward in the professional ranks.
Where does the power come from, Fab? Because honestly, it's kind of not normal. I've spoken to Ben Davison a few times, and obviously look, he's had AJ. He's been around so many good heavyweights. Yeah. And AJ's known for his power, but he also talks about your power. Let's have a seat. Why not? My legs are hurting. I'm getting old. But he talks about your power quite a lot. Where does it come from?
I think, look, some of it is God-given. Yeah. The other half of it is worked for. Look, you've seen these 18, 19 stone men. Some of them can't punch for toffee. Yeah. And then you see these even smaller weights, light heavies, super welters, that have just got this lightning power that could knock out some heavyweights. And I think I have that nice mix of both. I'm weighty, I'm strong, but I've got that sharp, just lightning quick, boom, come out of nowhere kind of power. So yeah, it's definitely somewhere God-given in there. I was born with it, but we definitely had to double down on it, work on it. When I first turned pro, I was probably barely 16 stone.
I was about to say that.
I was barely 16 stone. So as the weight goes up, as I get heavier, I need to learn how to manage that better, transfer that weight. It all starts to get very technical, and transfer force output, this, that, and the other. So again, that's another big credit to my team, my S&C team, especially as well, Boxing Science, helping me through that process of building me up weight by weight by weight as a slow progression, and then learning how to use that force in a boxing match.
Here we are. This place is going to be bouncing June 7th. Look at it.
Special.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Special. It's the thing. I was only here on Saturday.
Yeah. In your nice blue suit.
In my nice suit, soaking up the weather, but also soaking in the crowd as well, and just getting a little taster of what it will be like on fight night. Like I said, a dream to reality. I'm back in dream world a bit, but once fight night comes, reality will hit. It will hit hard, and I'll be here in the thick of it.
Do you remember how many people were roughly at your first fight?
My first fight. I think I saw. One thing I've always done. Again, this is a bit. Yeah, I've always been able to sell tickets. I've always done pretty well. I think in my first fight I did maybe 150 odd at York Hall.
That's probably what? That's probably
about that little section down there, bottom left corner, something like that. And don't get me wrong, the fan base has grown and grown and grown. The last big one we did obviously was 15,000 at the O2. So
now you're looking at over 20,000 here.
Yeah. We're growing, but this is hometown. It's funny to me because all week I've been having messages from people who are panicking, thinking, hey, Fab, what if I don't manage to get a ticket on Monday? What if I don't manage to get a ticket on Wednesday? Are you going to be able to sort something? Can you do anything? Is there any way? Like, people are actually panicking that they're not going to be able to get them in time. And I'm like, do you know how many 30,000 is? Like, are you guys sure? Or,
it's a lot.
So,
but this is the city that only gets the football. This will be like a big night out for the whole city.
This is what I mean. For the whole place, for the whole town. It's going to be a once. Boxing has happened here in Ipswich a couple of times on a very, very small scale. But nothing like this. No. Nothing like this occasion. Nothing like this moment. So this is going to be its own time in history. The funny thing that people keep saying to me is, Fab, you're making history. And I'm like, oh, calm down. Just keep me on track, keep me focused. But I guess in a ways, yeah, I am. But I'm immensely proud of how far I've come and what I've achieved and how I've been able to pull this off, really, because I am winging it, mate. I am the epitome of winging it.
And I said this on the stage too when I said, you've not skipped any jumps. You know, some people skip a jump when they've got a big promoter. You've not done that. I think those fights against Fraser Clark will put you in this position, deservedly. And I can't wait till June the 7th. I can't wait for your ring walk.
You and me both. It's going to be crazy. This place is going to be jumping, absolutely jumping.
They need something to jump it because they're going to get relegated to the championship. Sorry, Fab, but they need a bit of hope, don't they, Fab?
This is a positivity chat today. I don't want to hear nothing, right?
Fab, I've got to put you on the spot with a question. Obviously, look, Ipswich are struggling. First season back in the Prem is always going to be difficult. Sorry to do this, Fabio, but if you could have a one-punch knockout to win your fight, or a 90th minute winner to see Ipswich stay in the league, which one are you taking? It's such a brutal question. Such a brutal question.
Right, hang on. If it's not the one-punch knockout, is it guaranteed that I lose?
Okay, so
or do I just have to?
I saw what you're doing. No, actually, no. You can take it the way you want to take it. That's quite smart of you. See, this is why you see.
There's something up there. There's something up there.
Yeah. So basically, you can win on points, and they can stay up.
Done. Sold.
So
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll even take a Fraser Clark 1 type of fight, chaos, blood, all of that. Win on points.
Yeah.
Last minute winner here. We stay in the Prem. Done deal. Sold. I'll give it to you. Shake my hand. Take it. It's yours.
I'll take your money on that. Can't have it better than that, Ipswich fans, can you?